So Eddie, we're in the office here now.
Yeah.
So this is where you carry out a lot of your functions.
Yeah.
We're here at your computer screen, and I suppose really it's just to navigate through the software, through the Trimble software, and for people to see what kind of functionality it has, what relevance it has, say, to your day-to-day operations.
Yeah. Okay, so when the software opens up, you basically land on this page here, and I suppose the very start of the whole thing for us is our farm map. So the map come up. So basically, you can see here this is Lyons with all of our various fields and where we are.
Every field is geotagged, so
every field is
it has its own identity.
Its own identity.
Yeah.
And essentially, once we start with getting the whole place mapped, that is the core to it. From here, we can go out. You can see we have the various fields assigned to what crop they're in. And we're now doing all of our crop rotation planning through the software as well.
Right.
It allows you to do at least the following 20 years anyway.
Okay.
So I have some fields done. I should be retired before they change their crop on some of them, hopefully.
Yes.
But it's a long period of time you can do from there.
Great.
And then when you come back then off that, I suppose the next thing then to do is if we look at each of the individual fields then, so if we look, say, we were in field 19, Bertie, there with the tanker.
Yeah.
So we'll bring up that here. So essentially, at the very top, you're seeing the size of in hectares of the field, you're seeing the crop, and then you're seeing all the activities that were done. So we were spreading slurry back in the 28th of January of this year, the various ureas, all the various bits and pieces that have gone onto that field as it goes on down through it. So they're the overall activities that we have there. Then if we click into fertility, you can see the various nutrients that have been applied, and that just runs on down here, and you get the total per hectare in kilos then for the year. For something, as I said before, in relation to the likes of the slurry, this is either band spread or trailing shoe, cat slurry that's spread in the spring. We've put in values for those slurries there, and that will carry on down through, and we have them set up for both the spring or the summertime, and we're using some of those reference figures out there for the available nutrients in those, and that's giving us those. If, for instance, we looked at, I'll pick maybe one of the fertilizers. So if I come down here to where we spread, say for instance this potash here, and if we go to view the summary of this, you can see what we've spread, how long it took us to spread that fertilizer, when it was spread, and then if we go over to the map, you can see a coverage map and a proof of placement.
Okay, and that's on all automatically?
That's all done automatically. Yeah. When Ian goes out, or whoever is just driving the machine goes out and spreads in the field, they spread they carry out the work order. I'll show you those in a minute, but they carry out the work order. The system records all this data. It comes back then via the cloud to the system, and then we validate them. So if there's something that looks to be completely wrong or out, you can check and see, and then they're validated. The spreading then is logged into the system, and we're recorded then after that.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's all sits there. The other big thing that we are using this for then is at the moment is work orders. Obviously we've got quite a big team here working on the farm. There's 15 farm staff here. So what we do is we go in here and we create work orders. So for instance, I'm just going to say this particular work order here will bring up our work order detail. So we specify the fields that we're going to spread. We're spreading urea, the product was grassland urea. Our target rate was 70 kilos per hectare. That was the actual nutrients that were put on. Ian was the operator in this instance, the tractor, the spreader that was used, the quantity of fertilizer that went out in total, and there's the field that has to be spread. So what we do is we come in beforehand, we work out or we decide what applications have to be done. We generate these work orders. Those work orders then go out to the GFX screen in the tractor, and then when the operator is in the machine, he calls up the work orders and spreads away as is required. So it's eliminating all the pen and paper and what was meant to go here and all of these type of things. So, and as Ian was saying also, this allows us to do this well in advance, so that we can do this when times are quieter and we've time to plan, we can do that. And then when the season is busy and weather windows and pressures are on, all the information is there, and you can just get going and get spreading.
So if I was to ask you a question, if you were to prepare your fertilizer plan for the 1st of February,
yes,
and you uploaded your paddocks that you want to get fertilizer on the 1st of February, and someone decided to go out on the 25th of January,
yes,
would the system allow them spread?
Or is it linked to the date? At the moment we are not using. There are various restrictions you can put onto you can put weather restrictions, and you can put date restrictions onto the work orders if you like.
Yeah.
At the moment we don't put in the date restrictions.
Yeah.
I suppose as farm manager I say here, and we know when the close periods are, and the staff know, and we don't spread. What it does do is, as we said, the whole farm has been geofenced. So if you're in the wrong paddock, you won't spread. That's very important for us, I suppose, in terms of, well, it's important for every farmer, especially if you had rented ground or you're in the wrong field or so on and so forth. But for us, especially in relation to the trial activities, we could have a series of paddocks in a row that are getting different rates and different products beside each other. So to drive into the wrong paddock could be quite a costly error for us.
Yes. You're also generating financial information out of your work as well.
At the moment, I know you can see some of the costs that are coming out there. At the moment, we have the costings in relation to the actual fertilizers that are there. We're, like all these systems, it's a work in progress. We are working on refining our machinery costings, and the system very easily allows you to put in work rate for your machinery, and then when you select your piece of equipment, it will give you that cost. That costing will go on then after that.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
So work orders are a big hit for you on this.
Yeah, they were. I'm not going to lie and say they were a walk in the park to get going.
Yeah.
But they have been hugely beneficial as we've got them going, and something that we've very glad we persevered with, and they weren't that difficult to get working.
Yeah.
Just to get your head around how they were going, and it really is good, and especially with multiple operators.
Yes.
But I could also see it if you have a contractor, if they had a similar system, that you could send the work orders to your contractor.
Okay, very good.
Yeah. And then I suppose the other thing then that the system will do for us, go back out to the farm and go to so as I was saying before, we do try to build up a lot of we start to use the software more and more for planning. So you can see this is our crop rotation planner, and you can see, okay, in the grassland area there's not a huge difference because things are going for grass, a bit of reseeding, but as we scroll down through the various paddocks and fields in the farm, going a bit further here to the 70s. Here we go. So yeah, for instance, so we have some fields here that come around into our crop rotation that have been in grass. We've got various varieties coming through, and then we can plan on and on further. And it allows for that planning as well. And it will give us some of the information related to the quantity of land in cropping or the grassland and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Then also we will have, if we go back out to the fields. So if we again look at our field 19, and you can see that we have our soil test results uploaded onto the system. And again, we're storing all that data and we're able to use that data for management decisions then as well.
Yeah. And in time be able to create prescription maps then?
Yes.
Based off that data?
In time, yeah.
Which is what a lot of farmers are probably going on a grassland side, on a dairy side, is treating every paddock as an individual entity.
At the moment that's what we are doing, which is a bit of work, but we're also potentially looking at GPS locating our soil sampling as well.
Yeah. Yes.
Because obviously the more frequent, there's a certain variation within the soil sampling, so the more frequent you're going to be, there is potential that may be an added benefit to us.
Yes. Okay.
To do that.
So we're at a desktop here already. What about the relevance of a phone then and the whole?
Yeah,
what functions would you do on your phone, say, that you wouldn't do on your desktop? Or
the main things, like I'm just there. So there we have it's a bit. I find our good old field 19. So there we are. There's our farm map coming up here. The main thing that we use that I use the phone running for is when you're out in the field looking up records. So you're going into a field and you're saying, gosh, grass growth doesn't look great here. You can dial into it straight away, see where we are. Had we missed a fertilizer application, for instance, because cows were grazing this paddock in the last rotation, you know, was there farm air manure spread on this in the last year?
Yeah.
Where have we gone? How many cuts of silage are on this field?
Yeah.
That type of stuff is what we're really using. We use the phone for mainly. As I said, we have almost 150 paddocks here, so to be looking for that, the screen gets quite small when you're doing some of those issues there. You can input work orders and the likes from your phone, but there are some limitations to getting that to sync to the screen at the minute. And to be honest, the way we are using the work orders, the desk-based aspect of that probably suits us better at the minute, you know.
Yes.
But in terms of picking up quick information out in the field, the phone is great. The other thing the phone can do is we're starting to log the locations of valves for the water system.
Yes.
And when you're out in the field, log them on that, put in your reference, and then the other staff have them, especially when we've got multiple staff, they're saying, where is the valve in this field?
Yeah.
Open your phone and just keep walking, there's your dot, keep walking over to that flag and it's there.
Yes. Yeah.
So it definitely has benefits from those aspects for us.
Very good. Great.
Yeah.
No, it's good. It's good. Again, it's just look where we're here today is really for other people to see the relevance of it. It's early days, I think, in terms of the journey, but you're an early adopter of it, so I think it's good. And it's good for the wider industry to see the relevance of it here today.
We've had some ups and downs on our road to get here, but it's been overall positive. And I think as we've persevered and got more data there and got more used to the system, the benefits really are coming out to us now. You know, I think the technology does give us, you know, it has the potential to help us answering a lot of the questions that are coming down the tracks to agriculture as we go along. And so yeah, it should be good, you know.
Yeah, and so look, we in Vantage Ireland, we see the data as a key part of the business going forward. We're 3 years selling hardware, and I suppose we're on the journey now with data, and we see the data as having huge relevance to the market.
It's the other side of that is we are probably 2 full years with this software system now, and as like you say with the data, as we've built up more records into it, it's only at that point that you start to get the information flow back out of it and really making it good. But it has eliminated an awful lot of paperwork and that side of it.
And it can only improve realistically as you get more familiar with it.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Great.
Yeah.
No, thanks for your time today, Eddie.
Very welcome.
It's a good education for all of us, and good to see it.
Here again, guys.
Good to see it all in operation.
Thanks very much.
Okay, thank you.
All right.